Hi, I'm Brooke and this is Pippa, and we travel full-time out of my Honda CRV. We talk about all things car camping, car travel, car living, etc. since we travel full-time and do it car camping style. So if this is something you're interested in and want to keep seeing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can see more of us. But today we are going to be talking about something that's super important, which is what I keep in the car for car-related emergencies. I get asked all the time what I would do if I broke down, etc. These are some things I just keep on hand in case of some minor car related emergencies. I will say for bigger car emergencies, I do have emergency funds set aside to just call a tow truck. I have had a AAA in the past, and I've also had other kind of, memberships, and I find them to be super slow and unreliable. So anytime I've ever needed a tow truck, which has only been one time, I waited over 2 hours for AAA and ended up just calling a local place, and it worked out just fine. They got me taken care of right away. I do get asked a lot, what would happen if you have to leave your car somewhere overnight? I've never had to do that, to be honest, and anytime that has come up in discussion, the shop has always been super flexible with me, knowing that I'm on a road trip and that I'm sleeping out of my car, and they have either just had me take the car in super early in the morning and finish it up by that evening. And yes, it's boring. I have to wait around all day, just like you would if your car went into the shop another place. But I do have funds for a hotel if I ever had to leave my car overnight. And yes, that can get expensive, but that's why it's important to have an emergency fund. It's just the same way as if your car broke down on a road trip and this wasn't your full-time home. You would either have to get your car towed back to all the way where you are from, so you could be able to stay at your house and get it fixed, or you would just have to get a hotel and deal with the fact that you don't have a car. So you would handle it pretty much the same as you would if you were on a road trip. It sucks. I try to prevent it as much as possible. I have an entire video of how I handle car maintenance. Like I said, every shop I have ever been to has worked with me and my timeline, and the flexibility of knowing that I am sleeping out of the car. It's pretty obvious that that's what I do, and they are very realistic with me on their timeline and when they can get parts. So I just keep the car until the actual work can get done, and then we just wait around all day. But I'm going to list now some of the things that I keep on hand for those little emergency fixes. So the first thing I have is Fix-A-Flat. I know that there's a lot of chatter about Fix-A-Flat, but it has saved my butt more than a few times because of the roads that I go down. I end up with low or flat tires every once in a while. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen fairly often in this grand scheme of owning a vehicle, because I'm driving down forest service roads that aren't super well maintained, and having Fix-A-Flat on hand is what can get me back out of these situations so I can get to Discount Tire to get the tire repaired. I mentioned in my car maintenance video that all my tires are from Discount Tire and have a warranty or like insurance on them, so if they can't fix it, I can get the tire replaced for free. All of the tires that I actually have on my car right now are those free replacements. So I do go through tires more than I think the average person maybe, but just purchasing that extra $15 of warranty on each of my tires has beyond paid off. And Discount Tire also lets you come in, get them checked for free, and get them aired up for free. And so like I mentioned in that video, that's just what I do. And so using Fix-A-Flat on these tires, they have never had an issue with voiding the warranty or anything like that, and they've gotten me out of some precarious situations. Along with the Fix-A-Flat, I keep a 12-volt tire compressor that I can plug right into my car's 12-volt plug, and I can air up my tires whenever I need to. I do always check my tire pressure before heading out on the road, especially after I've been driving on Forest Service roads, especially if I've needed to air them down to make the ride a little bit smoother. So having the air compressor right in my vehicle makes it easier, so I don't have to stop at a gas station and pay that like $2 or $3 every single time to do all of that. I just have a air compressor right off of Amazon. I'll link it in my favorites, and it plugs right into my 12 volt, and I can just do it myself. Still talking about tires, I obviously have my car jack that came with this car. I know how to use it. I know how to change a spare tire. I get asked that a lot, which is kind of interesting, but I am 31, and so I feel like that was part of my upbringing. We still learned how to change tires. I think I actually even learned in school how to change a tire in like driver's ed. So I've known for a very long time how to change a spare. I've had to do it a few times in this car. It's super easy, but I always, like I said, because everything is insured through Discount Tire and all my tires are from there, I just have them check the spare every so often when I do come in, just in case I do need to use it. And my spare is basically brand new, so anytime I've had to use it and take it right back off, I keep it covered in the back and it's totally fine. My car jack is totally fine. Obviously, make sure that you have a jack that's rated for your vehicle weight. And I do not have an extra like bottle jack or a stand or anything because I don't do any of like actual work on my car myself. I only have the jack for emergency purposes, but obviously if you're going to do oil changes and things like that, make sure that you have a second set of jacks just in case yours fails while you are working on the car. You want to have that backup protection so the car does not actually like fall on you. Moving on from tire related things, I do keep a jump pack in the car for the car battery. I do not run almost anything off of my car battery when the car is not in motion. So I do charge my Jackery and my Blue Eddy off of the alternator, but I don't leave them plugged in for the entirety of my trip. I usually, say I'm on a 4-hour ride, I will charge all of my devices for about 3 hours, and then I will unplug and let my car battery regain full charge, just to make sure I'm not running down the car battery by keeping everything plugged in all the time. I also get my car battery tested every single time I go get my oil changed. Like I said in my car maintenance video that I did before, I had replaced the car battery when I first purchased this car in November of 2020. So it's fairly new, even though I am a little rough on it, but the sensors on this car for some reason are not triggered by the car doors being open. So even when I'm leaving the car doors open all the time and the lights don't work in here, I don't know if it's like a fuse that got pulled a long time ago or something that happened, but I really have never run into a dead battery situation in this vehicle. I have in vehicles in the past, which is why I have the car jump battery, but I keep it on hand just in case I ever need it, just in case obviously there's no one around to help jump my vehicle, and I like to have it just in case someone does need help and needs a jump. Because this car is a little older and has some quirks about it, I do keep coolant with me all the time. I just keep like a 50-50 mix, so I don't even have to worry about diluting it. Super cheap. I usually just pick it up at Walmart, and I just always make sure my coolant is topped off, especially in the summer when I'm going up mountain passes. I have never ever had a problem with this car overheating, but I used to own a 1991 Toyota camper, so it was a Winnebago Warrior on a Toyota chassis. If you've never seen those, they're really cool. They're really cute campers. I had one, and that's actually how I started my nomad journey, and those overheat all of the time. And so I knew from having that vehicle that I just needed to keep something on hand for this one just in case, and it does need topped off every once in a while, so I just make sure I have it on hand to top it off. I also keep some carb cleaner, again, same thing, just in case I ever need it, just in case there is something going on, I can run that carb cleaner through and I can try to do any maintenance myself that needs to be done. I've never had to use it, but I do keep it on hand. I do keep a small set of tools just in case I need to do any little maintenance on the car. I have had a few issues with the door lock mechanisms, with the door handles kind of messing up. My back window at one point was leaking because it wasn't like tight enough. So I do keep a set of like socket wrench kind of tools and some pliers and wrenches just in case I ever need them. I have them linked in my Amazon favorites, the exact ones that I have. It just helps me do small little maintenance items if I need it. Even for things as simple as just tightening up a few bolts here and there, or taking off a door panel to figure out what's going on with my door handle, like slipping out of place. This is an older car, so it does have some little quirks with it, and I just like to keep tools on hand for any small items that might need just a little tightening. I would recommend that you keep a flashlight on hand. I don't have any dedicated flashlights actually at this point because every single one of my power banks actually has a pretty intense flashlight along with it that I don't really need anything more than that. They also all have an SOS setting in case I do need that like emergency signal, but I just tend to use my power banks as my flashlight. They are bigger. I can just set them up and then see whatever I need. But to be honest, I really haven't needed a flashlight a whole lot since I've been on the road. I don't go out really when it's dark, and the times that I do, I can just use those power banks. I'm sure there's plenty of things that people will mention in the comments that they keep on hand for safety and everything like that. But the nice part is if there is an issue, I do have everything I own with me. So I do always have water, food, etc. And I do have an emergency fund to be able to call a tow truck, be able to get that done. But I'm crossing my fingers and knocking on wood that I won't ever need to use any of that. But things do come up and I am prepared for it, and I want you to be as well. So I hope this helped, and I have everything that I mentioned linked on my Amazon favorites, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!